Welcome!
Hi. For November, we had Evolution, and for one of our take-home activities, we were going to have you take a look at some animals that are more closely related, that some you would kind of expect and some you wouldn't expect at all. So we gave you a couple of cards like these, where there's a letter on the back with nothing else, and then on the other side there is some kind of animal. For example, we've got an ant on this one. And there will be another animal picture that has on the back a different letter. So for this one, it's D, and another animal may have D. But it's probably not going to be the rhinoceros, right? Um, so what you're going to do is you are going to set these out in a grid. So, once you have all your cards laid out like this, what you'll want to do is take a guess as to what animal you think is closely related to each other. For example, it's pretty reasonable to think, cows, those look kind of similar to rhinoceroses, right? But if we flip over their backsides, you'll see that it's A and B. And so they don't match, actually. Whereas, I think maybe it's horses and rhinoceroses, though? Yeah. So yeah, horses and rhinoceroses are much closer related, much more closely related than cows are to either of them. So, fun fact. And that's kind of what you're going to be doing, is just taking various guesses as to where you think all these guys belonged here. What you're going to find is that there's going to be a lot of species that you didn't really expect to be closely related to each other. You might have thought that, oh, sharks and whales are probably closer, when they're not. Whales are mammals. They are more closely related to cattle, if I remember correctly, than they are to shark. Sharks are more closely related to a lot of fish that are ray fish. Yeah, ray fish. So, and we can see that some of that sometimes, like, just from outside visuals, but a lot of it can also be determined by looking at the genetics and seeing how closely related the genetics are. Because if you're going to be genetically more closely related to, say, your sibling than you are your cousin from that's like your last common ancestor was back with your great 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 grandfather, right? And that's kind of the similar idea behind a lot of the genetic testing that's done to figure out how closely related certain animals are. And because of that, that can influence how certain behaviors came about, what traits we share with other animals, and that is important to know, be it for ourselves or for understanding other animals.